Howdy folks, how you doing? Long time no see. So just a little channel update here for you, just a short video, nothing very long or complicated. But lots of things have actually been going on since I uploaded a video. One of the things that I've discovered here is that, have to excuse me, I'm about to go through this. Time to put the hood up. One of the things I've been thinking about here is just the number of videos that I had made in the past. And, you know, in many ways, it was too many. They weren't very good. The frequency of videos was higher. I was never really particularly satisfied with the quality of them. And so I've kind of taken a break. And I'm trying to rethink this because, well, I mean, Rifle Chair channel now has 12,300 subscribers. And that's pretty good. But I think that my videos could be better. Now, I've had a couple of shiners that I've actually put some work into, some attention to, and they weren't too bad. One of them is probably the Bellissima video about the M1 Grand. Another one is probably on the Tikka T3 Arctic. Is it really worth the money? And those are some of the videos that I put some time, thought, and attention into. I have a bunch of videos that are similar to that I've been working on up here in the noodle, trying to think how am I gonna present this story of this rifle or this story or this history in a way that is not going to offend people, or it's going to be entertaining, or it's going to be interesting, relevant. And it takes me a little while to think that stuff. If I'm just banging off the videos, I'm not paying attention to any of that detail. Anyhow, that's one of the reasons why there haven't been too many videos. Well, actually in 2021. Right now I'm ramping up for the 2021 Cabin Fever Challenge. Looking forward to that. And behind the scenes, what the competitors don't understand is literally how much work it is to do these. And thank God, you know, we have a delivery team, and they're great people, and I'm so fortunate that they've agreed to sign on board and help with all of this stuff. Because doing it alone, not going to happen. It is possible. I did it for several years, but it was just too much. You know, on top of doing all the other things in your life, you know, having a job, being a father, having responsibilities. I mean, currently right now, pretty much since March 2021, we've been building a new house. We're to lock up now, but that was basically preliminary landscaping. We built a house in a swamp, and when you do that, you need to manage water. And so reconfiguring your landscape so that water sheds away from your dwelling rather than towards it, that's kind of a big deal. And then building it, one of the things we've discovered is trying to find skilled labor right now is a serious commodity problem. Lots of people have been called, and no response was ever received. And you know, there's all these field or array of contractors out there that pretty much they have their choice of jobs, and yours has to be really appealing to them in order for them to sign on board with you. It's always, I have a 3-month or 4-month waiting period, so we actually need to think about that in our scheduling well in advance of having something done and having people lined up, maybe even 6, 7, 8 months in advance. So thinking about where am I going to be progressing in the future, having to deal with costs, just the price of wood. In 2021, the commodity market was insane. The price of fuel, the price of everything. How are we going to sustain our financing? These are all huge, major, big deals. Sorry, I have a cold. And it's really stressful. It's stressful on everybody. It's stressful on your relationships. It's not good for your health to be in a high state of stress. You know, you've got tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars leaving your bank account, and you're not making the progress that you thought that you were going to be making in the time that you're going to be making it. And now we've got winter that has arrived, and that we're at lockup, but that brings with it a whole different set of challenges that you need to be able to manage. Just something simple like getting access. So, I mean, I'm not trying to discourage anybody from going out and building their own house. This is basically our life investment is being put into this major project. Literally living like a pauper for my entire career. Saving, investing, building a nest egg, and actually deploying the plan in 2021. We should have done this in 2018, 2019. This is when we should have done this. 2017 would have been perfect. We didn't expect COVID. We didn't expect all of these ramifications. We didn't expect to be on, what injection are we on now? Or what phase or variant are we on now? We didn't expect any of this. So, I mean, those are all kinds of things that have impacted my ability to put out YouTube videos. And frankly, I got to take care of number one first. But and I do feel bad because I do have people that are on Patreon. They're paying, $1, $2. Some of them are paying more than that, significantly more than that per month. And I have not been producing. I feel bad about that. So it is kind of an update, but it's also kind of a rationale that I'm trying to provide you as to what's going on and why it's happening that way. Just to change the subject a little bit, and I'm sure everybody's kind of got their own challenges. Of course you do. Everybody does. Health problems or finances. You didn't realize that you were going to be unemployed because you didn't stick a needle in your arm and get a vaccine. Things have happened slowly, but things have happened very quickly at the same time. Look at you. Come on. And everybody's stressed to the nines. I know that I'm even seeing in my community's Facebook group people that are pleading, begging for help because of their mental health problems, and they don't know what to do. The medical system is essentially collapsed. It's 100% COVID focused, and people with mental health problems, there's so many of them. They're coming out of the woodwork right now. Maybe even everybody, to a certain degree, is developing a mental problems to one stage or another. But some people have got it really bad. I mean, this is so terrible. It is so terrible. Anyhow, you can get kind of caught up in all of that. It'll start to affect you. So, I mean, you got to be able to maybe say, okay, what do I have control over, and how do I do the best job at that? Because there's a whole bunch of things that are going on right now that you don't have control over. We're actually going to get some blue sky today. I don't have any control over that. But let me tell you, we've had nothing but dark, cloudy days. I mean, dark. Okay, I've got a headlamp on my hat here for a reason. That's just the way it's been. But look at this. This is beautiful. Yeah, the sun isn't going to come up yet, but that's pretty standard for northern Canada in the wintertime. Today I'm test running some interesting boots. Kierza boots from Russia. These boots are basically Soviet manufacture. It was an interesting thing. Kierza boots are actually not made of leather. They're made of rubberized canvas. They put it through some kind of a bonding process, impregnating the canvas. And during World War II, they were having a real problem trying to furnish their soldiers with quality boots. They ran out of leather. So what do? You improvise. You adapt. And so they came up with Kierza boots, rubberized canvas, and just to keep that combat soldier moving forward. He's not going to be achieving much if he's got no boots. So, yeah. So working in this the snow here. I mean, there's about 8 inches of snow here, and just seeing if how much of it's going to melt on the exterior, how much of it is going to compromise the boots. When I come back to the truck, are my feet going to be wet? You never know until you try it, right? I mean, these boots were made for Russia's winters. They're not too dissimilar from a Canadian winter. And so, hey, I'll give them a try. One thing I will say, though, is when they arrived in the mail, it took, let's see, 1.5. So, yeah, 90 days from the point of purchase to when they arrived was 90 days. And I thought, I'm never going to see them. They're never going to arrive. They came straight from Russia. He had them in the mail literally within a few days of purchasing on eBay. But the global parcel distribution grid or system, it's really messed up. So the boots arrived 45 days after their arrival date was estimated, 45 days. And so I'm in conversation with the seller saying, hey, these boots didn't arrive. Did I just waste money on these boots, or is there a refund possibility here? So having those conversations, having kind of difficult conversations, trying not to have relationships break down, trying to see what we can do to compromise, and then they arrive, but way behind schedule. And it's like that everywhere. I mean, BC's had major mudslides, landslides, atmospheric rivers suddenly appear over their community, and basically getting a year's worth of rain in a 48-hour period. And there's usually consequences when things like that happen. I'm pretty sure I can get the snowmobile out here and pack this trail down. It'll make walking much easier. Maybe that's what I'll do. Get that snow to set. Easier to walk on. So atmospheric rivers suddenly appearing out of nowhere at a time of the year where we normally don't see them. And just before winter. Again, another huge giant complication. So what that does is it affects food distribution systems. You got all major highways washed out. We talked about this in 2017. It was October 2017. And Tudanam, Yodad, and myself, we made a video called "If You Could Pick Only One Rifle, What Would It Be? Why Would It Be That?" That wasn't the title, but that was the theme of the video. And we had just, we're 60 miles down a lake in a 17-foot aluminum boat, setting up a wall tent, wood stove, And it was October, and it's not like fall rains don't happen. They do. They happen all the time. Somehow everybody thinks that this is special because it's climate change and all that different stuff. You know, no doubt in my mind it's playing a role, but it's not like these things don't happen. I mean, the entire Chilliwack, kind of upper Fraser Valley, flooded out 30 years ago. Not that dissimilar to what this is, and you know, the impacts were the same. So these events do happen. They happen periodically. In forestry, we refer to it as a Q100 event. And so if you're going to be maintaining roads to a certain standard, you're going to want to make sure that natural drainage patterns are being maintained. And so you have drainage structures built into your road that are designed for a 30-year, 70-year, a 100-year event. They have to be a certain size because they're draining water out of a specific catchment area. And they know that a certain volume of rain can land in that catchment area. And so that drainage structure needs to be able to take that much rain past that much volume and velocity of water. It's a pretty standard discussion. Anyhow, when it comes to this thing, especially with the rains and the landslides, we also have to remember that so many of these areas were burnt by wildfire. So what happens here is that you burn off your forest, you burn off your duff layer, all of your organics that are basically coating the soil. You burn all that stuff off, you expose mineral soil. You're going to have erosion and sediment transfer problems. Then slowly over time, what happens? They land in culverts. They land in drainage structures built into roads. All that sedimentation builds up and builds up and builds up to the point where your drainage structures are no longer functioning in the manner that they should. And then you have an event like this. Whew. Anyway. Sorry, that was the forester and me coming out again. Anyway, things are good, guys. Things are good. It could be better, but I'm not complaining because one of the ways of keeping yourself out of trouble is to foresee problems before they occur. And you make preparations in advance, knowing that that is going to happen around that time. Planning prevents piss poor performance. It's very true. We've got some interesting projects that are coming up. One of them will involve, I'll give you a clue. It's going to involve Yugoslavian M48 Mauser. It's a video I've been wanting to make for years. I've got a plan put in place. It's going to involve snowmobiles. And I mean, we're talking about planning to make wonderful things happen. It takes planning. And it takes resourcing and preparation in order to do it. And it has taken me years to do this. So that's coming. And I'm hoping to do that this winter, sooner than later. I'm hoping for, by the end of December, I should have all the footage finally captured. Now, the editing and the processing time is totally different. That's different. That's a different time, and that is subject to time availability to do that. It could be in evenings, it could be on the occasional weekend, but it's just been so busy. No personal time. You know, hope you guys are doing great. Cheers, and as always, Maple Leaf up.